Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. Troy is preparing for the Catapult Advanced Gold Boot Camp tomorrow morning. That will be 9 a.m. for those of you that are subscribed to the Catapult Advanced Gold subscription. That covers the trade assist for modules for any Catapult modules that you're signed up for. This morning the volatility has been pretty strong this morning. Crude oil has had a one and done session this morning. We've got about a minute and a half to between a minute and a half and 2 minutes before market open. Excuse me. We do have a potential get in sync on the YM come market open, but here is our short from 74.88, targets at 71 and 62 for 17 and 26, 43 ticks on the morning, and a one and done session. And it looks like the YM is not going to be getting in sync. Well, it still might. Didn't quite get to. Yeah, there's money management, so no get in sync there. And there is market open. There was a get in sync on soybeans as well. And right now we have get in sync long, and it just triggered in a new short. So we are short from 12.79 even. Looking for 12.7750 for money management. And that does take long off the table. The Russell going far too fast, even if we wanted to get in sync with that trade. We did pick up a new short on the YM at 20 seconds after market open. But that bounced up way too quickly to get into the short and hit the stop, so that trade is off the table. Pound Aussies had a nice trade this morning. My entry was a little bit earlier and lower than the trade today, but both are in the long and at 88.79 for the stop at the moment, or 86.79 for the current stop. Unleaded also, unleaded missed out on the long just a little too early. And the Russell coming down strong. Possibly, I didn't see whether that came through too fast or not, but that would be a one and done short, hitting target 2 for 48 ticks. Nothing yet on the YM. And the Pound Aussie did stop out. So that is complete with a one and done session. My chart hit 3 targets, and the stop was at the target 2 level. Good morning, Miles. Good morning, Roger. Please do say hello so I know who's in the room this morning. And hit that like button. It does, if you feel like you get value from these sessions. But unleaded getting the short at 1462, hitting all 4 targets, and ultimately stopping out just a couple of ticks above target 4 at 1378. So 50 ticks to target 2 and 84 on the trailer, making for a very good morning on unleaded this morning. And hitting target 1 and then stopping out for a tick, 1 tick on the trailer. Soybeans is 1 and done. So the YM is the only thing still going. The Russell going through target 4 now with the stop at 31.1. That will be its POQ trade for the Russell. And the YM not yet with a trade that we could actually execute. So we're waiting for our first trade this morning. I will be closing the session down by about 10:15 to get ready for the crude oil inventory session. Wow, looks like it's Russell down now to 29.6 and 28.8. Russell, the YM, both heading for the basement, setting new session lows. And with 5 of my 6 charts already POQ, or in a POQ trade, 4 at POQ, 1 in a POQ trade, with only looking for 1 more trade here. Let's take a quick look at the 835 on the micro ES. No trade yet. As I said, volatility is definitely on the board this morning. Interesting that we've had as much volatility in the energies this morning as we have with the crude oil inventory report later this morning. But I'm certainly not going to argue. And our first trade on the YM at 34,202. All right. Short now on the YM. It did get to money management, just barely. So a one tick break even. And now in the short. With target one at 170. I start to say that basically is just differences in bandwidth, Roger, and a full stop out on the YM. So the YM is not being good to us this morning. The Russell stopped out of its short trade and it's done. So the YM being the only chart that we're still following. Please do ask any questions. Hardy, if you're in the room this morning, looks like we may have some time to go over how I've got my workspace set up. For NT8. Okay. No, we're not. Yeah, yes, we're still in the YM is still has trades to go. We'll take up to 6 trades. So we've got a break even and a full stop, and there is a new long. $34,241 with the stop at 214. That is a trade off of the 20 SMA. So those of you on the Spotlight Gold will not have that trade. This is Spotlight too. This is not Catapult, and that's another full stop out. So the volatility is there, but it's just not giving us enough extension now as it was earlier before the session. Looks like the YM wanting to head lower, but getting a fair amount of resistance. It's set a couple of new session lows since 9 o'clock. And it looks like trying to set a new session low now. Yeah, setting a new session low, but not in a trade that we can take. We do have an orange label report at 10 o'clock, but that's not something we would normally stand down for. And a reminder too, there will be no trade room tomorrow with the Catapult Advanced Gold and Long trade on the YM. And hitting money management. That one was a little quick to get in, but should have been tradable. And there's target one. So getting enough extension to get target one, money management, and target one that time. That target one was worth 25 ticks. We had a 29, so 58 ticks on the first trade and 54, so we're down 112. Picking up 25 puts us down 87. That's plus the 2 that we gained on the very first trade, so that's 85 we're down. This is trade number 4. Stop at 31. Actually, I would take the stop to 202, even though that's a major key level, because we don't want to take a loss after getting a gain. And now it stop up to 04. We would have stopped out at 202 and are now out at 04 if you stayed with the stop as plotted. So down 84, I'm going to assume we were stopped out at 202. And so we're down A4 through 4 trades. And the YM getting a little bit noisy now. Quite volatile. Good movement coming into the session, but then once we got into the session, it just died out. Certainly, the YM starts at 8:30 Central Time, that is the exchange time for the YM. The Russell, the same, 8:30 Central. That's market open. Crude oil starts at 9 o'clock. Unleaded gas also at 9 o'clock. The pound Aussie at 8. Those are both Eastern times, since those are traded out of New York. Pound Aussie from my Forex broker traded out of New York is at 8:30 Eastern is our start time, and soybeans traded out of Chicago is at 8:30 Central. So that's the start times for the 7 trade plans that I'm showing here. Actually, the 8th one is the micro ES catapult chart, and that starts at 8:35 Central, again traded out of Chicago. So 9:35 on my, with the timestamp on my charts. Heating oil is traded out of New York. That on Catapult, that's got several different start times. If you're trading it on Spotlight, it would be typically 9 o'clock as well. I haven't gotten involved much with the start times for the Catapult trade plans with my travels and getting over a flu. I haven't delved into those yet. Looks like the markets are heading upward now. Unfortunately, no setup that we could take to get benefit from that move. As I was saying earlier, no trade room tomorrow because of the Catapult Advanced Gold Boot Camp. And Troy will be back on. Actually, I will be picking up the Monday session. Troy will be preparing Monday for Tuesday's Catapult Grains Part 2. And so no trade room on Tuesday morning, as the Catapult Grains Part 2 will be at 9 a.m. next Tuesday, October 5th. You should have received emails if you're signed up for either one of those, or you should have received announcement emails for those. There's a new short on the YM at 34,292. That one's hard to say. I might wait for that one to test that last swing level with the strong up move, especially with the 20 a very strong upward slope, and the 50 crossing over the 200 at the moment. Kind of in no man's land at the moment. And yes, I would take that long. If you are already in, it's a stop and reverse. 323 if not. $326 if you're taking the stop and reverse. Again, that's a gold level trade, but I certainly would prefer the long in that particular setup. But we will see. So that is the short. If avoided, I would not count as a trade. If you took it, that's 5. So this would be trade number 6 if you got the short, or 5 if you avoided the short. Likely to see some testing of levels here, testing the 20 SMA at this right now, and the 50 has crossed over the 200 now, so it may test that again. It looks like it's trying to decide which way it's going to go, if it's going to break back down or continue on the upward move. That short trade on the YM is filtered by the crossover filter. We're looking for the magenta bar, which, based on my settings, will be the 8th bar after the crossover. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's the magenta bar, that doji. And unfortunately, because it's a doji, I don't see the magenta. So we can now get a short trade set up. But for the moment, still in the long. And money management. And looks like target won. Yeah. Target won on the long for 36. We were down 84. That brings us to down 48. Stop at 333. $338 for the stop, and stop moving up to 349, it looks like, and then coming back to stop out. So 349 from 324 is another 25. So down 23, and if you have another trade to take, there's the short from 339. All right. Last trade on the YM. Any other questions this morning? We will be closing it down in a little more than 10 minutes. So that I can get set up for the crude oil inventory report. That will be another stream. And I'll be opening that up just probably a few minutes before 10:30. This is a little bit bigger trade. This is 44 ticks to target one. And if we hit target one, it will actually get us to POQ on this trade number 6. It will get us positive. So Dan, this is why we go 6 trades. If we get positive on this trade, it won't be much, but it's going to would be a positive session. And there's money management. So stop would come to 338. Looking for a target at 295. We've gotten down as low as 298. And our stop moves down to 326. Down to 298 again. At this point, I would probably move my stop down to, I don't know, with that swing high there, I think leave it at 326. That leaves us now no worse than 10 ticks down on the session. And there is target. So that's a 44 tick target, putting us 19 ticks positive. And our stop at 321. So that's another 18 ticks. So we'll be at least 37 ticks positive. And stopping out at 321. So that ends the YM session with 6 trades, but it did get to POQ on that 6th trade. So, do we have any additional questions? Looks like we've had quite a few additional folks join us. Please do say hello. It's been a quick morning. One and done sessions on crude and unleaded gas this morning, as well as the Russell. The YM took 6 trades, avoiding one short after a strong upward move, waiting for it to test the swing high once more before getting in it. We avoided that trade and got into a long, and we ended up getting 37 ticks positive after a couple of early losses. A break even and 2 full stops. Before 3 winners. Pound Aussie also with a one and done session this morning, as was soybeans. So a lot of volatility in the market, at least pre-market, and then kind of slowed down as once the market opened up, but it's still a fair amount of movement there. A little bit unusual in the energies that they've been moving quite as well as they have, given that we do have the crude oil inventory report coming up at 10:30 this morning. And it looks like my 10 o'clock bandwidth issues are continuing. My monitor is about 10 minutes behind where I am right now, I believe. I will be closing things down at about 10:15 so that I can reset and get ready for the crude oil inventory report at 10:30. We'll wait our 2 minutes after the report comes out and look for trade starting at 10:32. And nope, that we're after 10 o'clock, so we're outside of the trade plan window on the micro ES. This is the 20 range on the Catapult heating oil. I believe 8:45 is the start time, and you may be doing the 22 tick range. So there's the first trade. Break even. And looks like the second trade got it done. Targets 3 and 4. And back for a break-even stop. Trade 3 would have been a full stop. As would trade 4, looks like. Trade 5 hitting targets 3 and 4 again. And dropping back quickly. That would be the end of the session there, I believe. I'll have to look back at the trade plan and get that on that chart as the trade plan is. That was just a preliminary 20 tick range bar on heating oil for Catapult. Unleaded for Catapult. No, that's mine. There's unleaded for Catapult. Let's go back and look at 9 o'clock there. There's a trade a little bit early. If you're 8:45 or 8:50, that's definitely a winner. That was that early trade on unleaded that we just missed on Spotlight. That early move. So that would have been definitely one to pick up. Not quite getting to target 3. So break even there. And the long then giving us a nice targets 3 and 4 and a small trailer. So fairly successful. Looks like on Catapult this morning. I have gigabit, Donald, but apparently something happens right at 10 o'clock and my bandwidth goes in the dumper. And I just have not had time to argue that with AT&T, who's my provider, because I'm on a gigabit fiber connection. All right, it's 10:15, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one down since everything's POQ this morning. And we'll get ready for the crude oil inventory report coming up in about 15 minutes. So we will see everybody in a few minutes back in here.